and Eastern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Get ready for the third round of wintry weather this month. More snow is headed to our region and our severe weather alert day continues. Let's get right over to meteorologist Evan Hatter for the very latest. Evan.
That's right, Steve. It's, believe it or not, we're just about 3 weeks into the year, and it's our third wintry mess as it continues to work into the region. Right now, not so wintry, but that winter weather advisory is in place ahead of the rain changing to snow tonight. Just about everybody except for a few counties in East Tennessee and Southwest Virginia not under it. We're going to continue to see that winter weather advisory. It'll go into effect late tonight and run through early on our Thursday morning. Many of us, in fact all of us, above freezing right now, into the low to mid 40s around much of the region. A few low 30s out there, but that's still giving us a very cold rain, and it is heavy in pockets right along I-75 right now between Corbin and Williamsburg, likely getting in on some moderate to heavy rain right now. In fact, everybody will see that whole shield of rain head into our direction as we work through the remainder of the evening hours. But look out to the west. Here's where we're already seeing the changeover from rain to snow working its way into far west Kentucky at this hour, and that's headed in our direction later on tonight. It's a foggy, soggy scene at London Corbin Airport right now, sitting at 41. I-75 at Mount Vernon, visibility already not great. With the rain coming down, you add the fog, and that wet road out there is going to be our big issue heading into the overnight. So go ahead, download that WYMT weather app if you don't already have it. What you're going to find on there, other than updated radar imagery and the latest alerts, is our latest forecast. And for us, we've got temperatures crashing below freezing tonight. That'll freeze those roads solid and give us a chance for more snow around the mountains. I'll have the full details, including where our totals look to end up, coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, a messy evening even before the snow hits. Thank you, Evan. Well, road crews are on the ground getting ready for that switch from rain to snow, and that is creating another challenge. The Clark County Road Department says this winter storm is going to make it especially hard for them to do any pre-treating of roadways. And the issue is that rain before the transition to snow and Arctic temperatures that does not allow for the salt to help pre-treat roads. Along with salt supply being used faster this season, their workers are also getting fatigued by working long hours week after week. We could all certainly use a little break from this nasty weather. Well, both Governor Andy Beshear and the Republican supermajority have released their versions of what the upcoming budget will look like. Now lawmakers are looking at both before taking the budget to the General Assembly. This morning, the governor's budget was presented before a Senate committee. Jim Stratman has more.
Well, as one lawmaker put it at the end of this morning's meeting, these budget committee hearings are more of a marathon, not a sprint. Today, State Budget Director John Hicks went before the Senate Standing Committee on Appropriations and Revenue to pitch the governor's budget proposal to lawmakers.
Hicks started off his presentation to lawmakers by outlining something the governor has harped on for months. Kentucky's economy is looking good right now.
Our fiscal position is the best in 40 years.
And he followed that by outlining the huge amount of investments that the governor wants to see lawmakers approve in Kentucky.
After the austerity in our state budgets from 2008 to 2019, including 19 budget cuts, we have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to make targeted investments that will pay dividends for decades.
The governor's budget allocates huge levels of investment for a number of areas, calls on hundreds of millions of dollars from the general fund to go to infrastructure improvements, asks for investments that can help get more mothers of young children back into the workforce and set those children up for lifelong success through funding for pre-K and kindergarten.
But in this case, the governor chose the opportunity to make targeted investments that we think will pay off.
Now, we know that Republican lawmakers have already released their version of a budget for the next fiscal year, and so debate over these two is likely to continue. Reporting in Frankfort, Jim Stratman, WKYT.
Well, now in other news, a detective took the stand this morning testifying about what led up to an hours-long standoff and a man setting a Richmond apartment building on fire. Logan Browning is accused of assaulting his ex-girlfriend, barricading himself in her home, then setting it on fire. He's also accused of firing shots from her building, putting dozens of people in danger. Today, he faced a judge. The fire destroyed the building, leaving several families without a home. Members of the community are hosting a fundraiser for them this Sunday at Champion Sports Bar and Grill.
I think someone had said there were 17 children in total involved. And, that's a big thing for me, or when children are affected by, a thing that has a negative impact on their life. I try to balance that out and bring a positivity to it. Me and many other musicians too as well.
Browning is facing a slew of charges, including arson, robbery, burglary, and wanton endangerment involving a police officer. A study on the economic impact of bourbon was released by the Kentucky Distillers Association today. The KDA says the study outlines how the signature spirit pours nearly $9 billion into Kentucky's economy and provides more than 22,000 jobs. Investments and tax revenues are also better than they've ever been before. The study also shows how bourbon holds up against the competition in other states.
This industry offers high-paying jobs that are also unique. People truly love what they do in this industry. But we know there are challenges across all industries in Kentucky when it comes to workforce. We have to be proactive in order to maintain our place as the #1 place for distilleries, distilling jobs, and the bourbon tourism industry.
A record 2.4 million barrels of bourbon was produced in Kentucky in 2020. There are about 10.3 million barrels aging in the state right now. Lawmakers and youth advocates across Kentucky are meeting virtually this week for Children's Advocacy Week. The annual event highlights children's safety, health, education, and economic well-being in Kentucky. At today's event, Governor Beshear again pushed his proposed budget, which includes $2 billion investments into pre-K through 12th grade education.
And it starts with funding preschool for every single 4-year-old in Kentucky, as well as all-day kindergarten. And the budget I recommended does just that. It ensures that every child has that opportunity, that no one shows up in their first day already behind.
Children's Advocacy Day at the Capitol began in 2004, but has since shifted to a week-long discussion. The organization Donate Life Kentucky says nearly 1,000 Kentuckians are waiting for an organ or tissue donation or transplant. Many people register to be organ donors when they renew their license, but with the state transitioning to an 8-year driver's license cycle, the time between new registrations will be longer. This bill aims at countering that with new additional ways to grow the organ donor registry. If it becomes a law, it will also let local county clerks ask for organ donor consideration in person. The second half of 2021 saw several consecutive months of price increases for groceries, but Kentucky was third in the nation when it comes to spending the most on groceries. WYMT's Jade Saylor spoke with local store and restaurant owners about how this is affecting business.
People living in Kentucky spent the third most out of all 50 states on groceries in 2021, likely due to the pandemic.
More and more people are trying to stay safe and avoid, contact.
But groceries are among the areas where inflation continues to challenge household spending this year, and store owners are now needing to increase price of groceries due to supply issues.
You have to adjust accordingly. Obviously, if something goes up, if it costs you more, you have to pass it on. Unfortunately, you don't want to, but you still got overhead to take care of. So, yes, you're having to see a little bit of an increase.
Owners say they are not seeing a drop in customers, but a drop in certain items off the shelves.
You see customers changing items. They're if, for instance, ribeyes. Typically, when they go at higher price, the sales drop. So they're switching to other items.
Restaurants are also being impacted. Many supplier and distributors are struggling with labor shortages, increasing transportation costs.
When you order, you need to get like 50% of what you order, because a lot of truck company right now, they limit your order. Like say, I want to order a 3-case chicken. They say, I'm sorry, we only have 1 case.
A huge jump in food prices is causing some restaurants, like Panda Garden, to occasionally shut down to avoid charging their customers more.
Broccoli used to be like $25, $30 case, $60. Every week's different. And my husband's like $80. Like 1 week, like 2 weeks ago, it's like $90. You know what we did? We just shut down.
Store and restaurant owners are being told it could be this way for the next 2 to 3 months or longer. In Harlan, Jade Saylor, WYMT Mountain News.
Food in Kentucky had the highest year-over-year increase from 2020 to 2021 since the Great Recession. The beloved long-running PBS animated kids show Arthur is going out with a bang. After 25 years, the show's final 4 episodes will air next month as part of a special quarter-century celebration marathon. It will include upwards of 250 episodes and movie specials back-to-back, airing on multiple PBS platforms. The marathon starts February 16th and runs until February 21st. The last 4 episodes will air on the last day of the marathon. The Arthur series finale will include a look at the show's characters as adults. PBS says the iconic Peabody and Emmy award-winning show is the longest-running kids animated series on television. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, President Biden reflects on his first year in office and looks ahead. We share what he said in his news conference that was still going on as of just a few minutes ago.
And winter weather poised to work back into the mountains as we head into tonight. I'll have the very latest breakdown next.